There's, about 28 different beer styles. Those are the general styles. Each one of those has 3 to 5 subcategories. So really there's almost 200 different slots that you can enter your beer into, and it will be judged according to that specific slot. The 2 general kinds are lagers and ales. Lager is made with what is called a bottom fermenting yeast. It's brewed or fermented at cooler temperatures. It takes longer for it to ferment. Ale is with a top fermenting yeast, and it brews faster at warmer temperatures, cellar temperatures, around 55, 60 degrees. The people that I have met through homebrewing, through competitions, are just a lot of fun. They're great people, and a lot of fun and very interesting just to hang out with, let alone drink beer with. I think that has to be a major factor, is the brotherhood of beer that gets formed by homebrewing.
The first batch I brewed, it was terrible. I almost never brewed again. I saved a few bottles just to kind of remind myself of where I came from. I started out, 10 years ago, and I started entering in the fair probably about 8 years ago. And, the first couple times I entered some, and the judges' results came back, but probably now looking backwards as I would have expected them, I was a little disappointed. I thought it might be really good, but they were just kind of average or mediocre. But some practice and some changing some recipes and things, they've gotten better. So, I even got lucky a couple years ago, and I got the best of show at the Iowa State Fair.
Mike is making an Oktoberfest beer. His recipe calls for 28 pounds of malted barley for a 10-gallon batch. The grinder cracks the shells of the malt to expose the pulp. The recipe calls for 4 different grains. Each has been roasted to a different temperature to bring out flavor and color. The darker grains will translate to darker beers with fuller flavors. The cooking helps to release the sugars from the grains. Next, the sugar is rinsed off the grain and collected in the boil pot. After a time, hops are added.
Hops are basically a flower off of a plant. They do 3 things. They add bitterness, flavor, and aroma.
Once the wort has cooled, it is transferred to a fermenter, usually a glass carboy or keg. Yeast is added and the mixture is sealed. The yeast eats the sugar in the wort, converting it to alcohol and carbon dioxide. This initial process takes a week to 10 days. After fermentation, the beer is ready for bottling. As it is added to bottles or kegs, sugar is added and the container is sealed. The yeast in the beer eats the sugar to create carbon dioxide. This process brings the bubbles and carbonation to the beer. The beer is then stored and will be ready to drink in 2 to 4 weeks.
The most fun for brewing for me is sharing the beer with other people and seeing what their reactions are. Would you like to try beer?
The Iowa State Fair gets between 150 to 200 beer entries each year. The beer is judged on strict standards related to style, appearance, clarity, aroma, and taste. The beer is consumed by the judges to evaluate flavor and aftertaste. The judges will sample between 12 and 20 beers during the course of the competition.
Well, I think everybody has different reasons for judging. They all have their own motivations. Mostly it's our passion for beer. But yeah, that makes a competition fun, is when you find some good ones. That's what we judges talk about in between flights and stuff. Did you run into any good ones? How was your flight? And things like that. And the comments I hear more and more is, oh, we didn't have any bad ones. And you'll hear it a few tables down. They found a good one.